If you could snap your fingers and make somebody retire, who would it be?
Matt Hanson.
Damn it.
Favorite discipline to train for, swim, bike, or run?
Bike. Who's the guy you hate to see on the start line the most?
Sam Appleton. I never see him. He's just gone. I never see him. Least favorite.
To train for, run. I can't get out the door for an easy aerobic run. Just boring.
Is that because your easy aerobic runs are at like 5-minute miles or whatever?
Like 15-ish, 10, 6, 10. Zwift Pro Tri Series in the June races. You did pretty well in that. What, 8, 6?
I ended up 4th overall in the end.
4th overall. All right. So do you think the results would have been the same in real life?
I don't think they would have been the same. I think I would have been around the same place, approximately. It's kind of draft legal, so probably a few places further back, but there would have been a lot of mixing up of who's where, for sure. Why have you sucked in Kona so far as a pro?
We only have 45 minutes for this discussion. That race has gotten the best of me, and I think it's been a lot of the way that I was preparing early on. Obviously, this year I had a fractured ass, so that doesn't help. I couldn't even run. I knew going in I couldn't run, and I've learned hopefully get the chance to go back there and race and figure it out. How many more months of no race income can you manage before having to get outside employment?
I'm going to say 12 to 18 months.
Oh, well done. Nice.
I don't have kids yet, so, or
yeah.
You biked 1,000K in a week. Do you think you're as fast as Cam Worth now?
Swim and run, you bet. He does that every week, doesn't he?
Probably.
Lowest moment in the sport?
2015. I was just starting in pro and, feeling pretty good about what I was doing. And I went to an Olympic distance race in Des Moines. It was a non-drafting Olympic distance. And I had an okay day, but I finished like 8 minutes behind Cam Dye. And I was just so over it. I was like, what the hell? I've been training so hard. Like, how is this even a thing that I could finish so far behind in a pretty short race? And I literally almost quit the sport that year, but then I decided not to. And the next year, my very next race, I raced Cam Dye, and I only finished 1 minute and 36 seconds behind him. And then I was like, okay, now I think this is worth it. Dumbest thing you've done in a race?
I went to a race without knowing that tires that I had were like soap on wet roads. And at Cairns, I crashed 3 times going around like a roundabout. It wasn't even a technical. It was just like the front wheel just disappeared.
3 times in the same race?
3 times in the race. It was, just leaning through a roundabout where you're going straight. So you just kind of bend around and just the bike just disappeared from under me. You've been with Montana for 4 years. You live together. When are you going to wipe her up?
I can't give it away. I don't even know, but I'm going to say less than the time we've been together so far for sure.
Oh, that's probably good.
Dumbest thing you've done in training?
In a former life, I would do a workout 3 weeks before an Ironman that was basically 27-mile run descending by every 3 miles. So I'd start at a 6:10 for the first 3 miles and drop down 10 seconds every 3. And then the last 3 were an all-out effort. And so like a couple times I ran like the last 26 ended up to be like a 2:32 marathon. And I thought that's what I needed to do to get me mentally ready. That wasn't a workout that I came up with. It was a workout I was given, but I think I left my race in a few of those workouts, which might be one of the reasons that I've sucked it up in Kona the first time.
Yeah.
So I get asked a lot if I can reach my goals living in Storm Lake. Do you get asked the same about Guelph?
No, I don't think so. Like, we have a pretty good situation, at least when the pools are open, which is not right now. But some people do ask if I think I should move down to the States during the winter or something like that, because it definitely is a lot of months not riding outside. What is the most common mistake you see pro triathletes make?
Thinking that harder is always better. Obviously Coach Julie and just some of the people that she was working with, TO's ones, like he's great at polarizing things where like his easy stuff uses no mental energy. Like he gets the job done, ticks the box, but he's not trying to get that extra 10, 15 watts on his easy rides. It's that way he can leave the mental and physical energy for the harder stuff. He had a pretty bad crash at 70.3 Worlds going down or descending. Does that ever creep in? Do you hesitate on corners or on descents at all? I mean, it's not even been a year yet.
At this point, I don't think I've had any kind of PTSD or anything, but I think if I were to go back to like a similar setting on a descent on a mountain or like back to the same mountain, I would be pretty shook up for sure. Are your best performances behind you or ahead of you?
They're definitely ahead of me. I've only had a couple good performances in my mind where I've really felt good about the race, that I left everything out there. I think I've got at least double that.